Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is the new Teen Titans Volume 2. This is day 5 of the quarantine, and running out of comics. No, I'm joking, I got plenty of comics here. And anyhow, I wanted to jump right into this one. I wanted to get back on the new Teen Titans. I feel like it's pretty good to do a lot of DC. I'm trying to think of other DC comics I can jump on besides the new Teen Titans or Green Lantern stuff. I might do old Batman. I think that's probably a good one to jump onto. But in the meantime, thoroughly entertained by New Teen Titans. We're gonna do the New Teen Titans number 15. So anyhow, you got a pretty awesome cover right here. Changeling is working with these weirdos, the Brotherhood of Evil, to stop Madame Rogue and General Zol, and they've kind of thrown the New Teen Titans into some pit of doom. So, unfortunately, due to how we're in the middle of a pretty convoluted plot right here by Marv Wolfman, so he doesn't really do a good job of explaining what's going on, other than to kind of keep things going right here. Basically, what ended up being a rescue mission to rescue Mento, which is somebody Dayton, I should say, which is the Changeling's dad. They end up running into Madame Rogue and General Zol. General Zol's kind of a hilarious Nazi character that that DC Comics was using at this time, and they're kind of fighting with these characters. The new Teen Titans get captured, and they get thrown in this primordial goo that turns them that basically devolves them into Neanderthals. I swear to God, there's a Marvel series, I think it's Marvel Fanfare, that does this exact same thing with the Uncanny X-Men, and I think Spider-Man and a few others, though in that one, they transform them into different types of animals. That's actually a pretty good series to do a video review on as well. But it's kind of funny how DC and Marvel were constantly ripping off on each other during this time, but still a good idea, pretty cool, and gets you to see George Perez's sort of interpretation of the Teen Titans as Neanderthals. They're also teaming up with Robot Man from the Doom Patrol. They're chasing after Madame Rogue and General Zol, who were the cause of the original Doom Patrol's deaths. So Changeling has really close ties to the Doom Patrol and is kind of seeking vengeance on them. In the meantime, General Zol and Madame Rogue are basically annihilating this country, Zendia, which has its own weird subplot in and of itself. I swear to God, it's interesting to read Marv Wolfman because a lot of times there's a lot of similarities to Chris Claremont as far as having 1,000,001 subplots going on. So it's kind of a reluctant sort of partnership between the two, and I'll explain later. We go to Changeling. He's the only one not captured, and he runs to the new Brotherhood of Evil. Their leader, Brain, basically tells him, join up with us and we can free your guys. Gar's like, fuck you guys. And then he gets his ass whipped by him. Eventually has to go. DC has so many characters, dude. It can get like utterly confusing at times with how many characters get thrown at you. So yeah, this guy's Warp. This is Phobia, Hungan, and Plasmus. And they all have their crazy powers. They team up with Gar to go break in and save the new Teen Titans. So in the primordial goo, the only one not affected is Robot Man because he's a robot. And he's busy trying to fend himself from the animal mutated Teen Titans. And in comes Changeling using Warp's power. And they get to battle with Madame Rogue, General Zol, and all of their troops. And unfortunately, as it's shown in the previous issue, General Zol has just a freaking crap load of just troops, dude. And they're all like almost like stormtroopers, dude. They're like super expendable. Anyhow, I'm going to move through this real quick. What is interesting and what Marv Wolfman kind of makes a point in this incredibly hectic and action-heavy scene is the difference between the Brotherhood of Evil and the Teen Titans. So Robot Man kind of works around here. Changeling chases after Madame Rogue because Madame Rogue was the cause for the death of his adoptive parent or his adopted mother. And boom, Robot Man's able to break out the Teen Titans. They break out and get into the action. And what's very interesting is that the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, they just kill people. They don't freaking care. The Teen Titans, though, they work hard to just try to take them out with just their own abilities. And here you see Cyborg kind of getting his ass kicked and trying to fight his way back. You see Raven saved this member of the Brotherhood, but he kind of really disappoints her by basically murdering a bunch of people, and she gets really frustrated by this. Here you have Starfire and Wonder Girl using their powers to just take out people and not necessarily kill them. This was kind of the staple of DC Comics in the day. It was still very taboo for a hero, especially a superhero, to murder or kill people, right? And that's kind of the big bugaboo of a lot of this is Marv Wolfman kind of explaining the differences between the two. Here the Brotherhood's killing a bunch of people. Here Flash and Wonder Girl and Starfire and Robin are trying to just disable them. Here General Zol's going to make a jump for it, but Robot Man's like, I'm going to get you, you little bitch. See, I can never imagine him as Brendan Fraser's voice. That's why the Doom Patrol freaking TV series bugs me. I just can't imagine him as Brendan Fraser, man. By the way, this panel was awesome. I almost drew this panel for the art for this video, but I decided against it because it would have been confusing. I'm reviewing Teen Titans, and you kind of associate Robot Man with Doom Patrol. So he chases after Zol. Changeling gets into a fight with Madame Rogue. Really interesting how Madame Rogue is kind of like Mr. Fantastic, except a chick. It's kind of interesting, all these drawing techniques too. Really awesome art by George Perez, by the way. They get into it, and yeah, Changeling's pissed, dude. He's freaking going after Rogue, and he's losing it right now. And she's like, this guy's crazy. Zol is also trying to run away as well. He turns around and faces Robot Man. Robot Man's like, "Hey, you're freaking going to jail, you son of a bitch." And surprisingly, he tries to shoot Robot Man, but the bullets bounce out, and he inadvertently kills himself. Right? Very, very interesting. Kind of convenient, because in a way, you could tell that the drama building up, it would make more sense for Robot Man to actually kill him, but in a way to sort of make sure Robot Man doesn't go too far. Instead, his own ability ends up killing, or his own capabilities end up killing Zol, right? Some Heil Hitler, classic Nazi villain of the old days. And interesting dialogue here or really monologue, because nobody's here, right? By Robot Man, because he's kind of like, hey, you don't get it. The thousands you've killed don't get it. The Chief, Larry, Rita, they don't get it. I don't get it. Not even God allows himself the last laugh, Saul. He only weeps for his children gone astray. Every once in a while, Marv Wolfman has some, like, golden dialogue. He's not nearly as often as Chris Claremont, in my opinion, but, man, every once in a while he gets some parts that you're like, yeah, this is good. This is good. So Gar chases after Madame Rogue, and Madame Rogue's about ready to... she's trying to get this lever to go down. Gar is like kind of pissed off, frustrated. He doesn't know what she's going to do, and he smacks her off the lever. It ends up throwing her into some electrical equipment and short-circuiting and blowing up a bunch of things. And Gar, at this point, Changeling is kind of like, oh crap, what did I just do? And then he just realizes when she talks to them, that she's dying, and Gar has killed her. And, Logan, thank you for freeing me. Thank you. And, very interesting. I wish I knew more about this character. She just kind of got thrown into this series, and it's just explained that she's one of the big causes for the Doom Patrol's death, which is why Changeling, hates her and desires revenge on her. But you get a great scene right here where Marv is kind of showing that, at his heart, it was just rage and frustration that was driving the Changeling. He really didn't want to kill her, right? And this way, even though you have a superhero murdering a villain, killing a villain, right? In this case, I wouldn't say murder, more like accident, right? You can see the effect that it has on him. He's screaming at himself, no, her death's now on my conscience too, right? But I won't let anyone else die because of me. That's a good, you, the reader, can sympathize with Changeling. He did wrong, and he understands what he did wrong, and now you kind of like, okay, what do I do to make up for this? So, but he kind of gets back into the zone, goes back to go help his friends. Teen Titans are kind of fighting for their lives right here, and then eventually the character Warp is able to save everyone because the whole island's about ready to blow, and they get themselves warped out, and you get a great scene where it's like, I have told you, Monsieur, Logan is a comrade. There is no need to make threats. He is responsible for Rogue's glorious death. And, Gar kind of jumps back at him. Shut up, Brain. How can you be proud of having someone killed? Island blows up. The team escapes unscathed. They almost get into a fight with the Brotherhood, but they kind of decide, that's enough fighting for today. They let the Brotherhood go for now. And you get a great moment where even like Raven recognizes, what happened to Garfield or Gar, right? Changeling, and she kind of mentions right here how much he has grown and how much he is still a hero despite the accident that occurred. You get Mento coming back. It's all happy ending, and you get this great, freaking amazing panel right here of Mento, Robot Man, and Changeling walking back, and in memory of the original Doom Patrol, right? Even a great moment right here. Respectfully dedicated to those creators of the Doom Patrol: Arnold Drake, Bob Haney, Bruno Premiani, Bob Brown, and Murray Boltinoff. And almost did this one too. This is great. I love George Perez loves doing this, having the big cuts with all the characters' portraits, right? Always love that. So pretty good issue, very entertaining. Let's see. Where am I? How did I do? Not bad. Not bad. So this is the panel right here. I didn't do the interior panels because, I'm not doing lettering, so there wasn't really a good point to doing the interior panels. But yeah, man, I actually had a lot of fun drawing this. This is the first time I've ever done penciling and inking on actual Bristol. Before this, you might have noticed, so this is a lot heavier paper. You might notice that I've always been using kind of sketch paper, 50-pound paper. This is standard. I think this is, I forget the name of the company, Canson, a French company. This is tip 300 smooth Bristol. And it makes a difference, man. It makes a big difference, especially in the inking. When I look back on this, this was a lot of fun because I allowed myself a little more room to kind of mess around with it. I was still going to capture George Perez's style, but I kind of changed the way I do things. In particular, the way I do hair, I can't stand those thin lines. I think that's more fun to do with a brush. So Romeo Tangal, respect to that inker. I can't really do the details in the hair that he does. There's only one big mistake that I don't like about this whole thing, and it's Robin's shading right here in his cape. Because you can't see it, you don't really know what's going on here, so you can only really kind of infer what Robin looks like behind this panel. And when I look back, I shouldn't have done the shading here because it doesn't make sense. If you take a look at it, lighting is probably from behind. It's not really, there's nothing really to suggest that lighting is coming this way to create a shadow like that. So, yeah, don't like that. But otherwise, not a bad piece of art, really. I kind of am enjoying doing this. Before, the first time I did George Perez, it was kind of frustrating, but this was a lot of fun to do. Just really enjoyable. Anyhow, that's the review. Let me know what you think. If you like the review, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. If you got any comments on the new Teen Titans or this artwork, please leave it down below. And I will see you next time.